Thank you very much, Sakina. Yes, we apologize for the break in transmission there. There seems to be gremlins in our system. Well, what I can tell you is that, we are still here at the Nellmapius Secondary School where the matriculants are about to sit down for their final year examination. And I'm still joined by Elijah Mhlanga. Thank you so much, Elijah, and we apologize for the break in transmission there. You were just about to elaborate a bit further on the high number of students that have enrolled for Matric this year.
Yeah, that's correct. We have 22,000 more candidates at grade 12 writing the exams this year. And we are confident that it's a good sign. It shows that even during COVID, there were no dropouts. At the rate that people expected, a lot more of them stayed in the system, such that we are seeing an increase. And we welcome that, but we hope that they're equally prepared to sit for the exam, because we've done a lot to support them. We use the school holidays to make sure that they go to get more lessons in camps and use the additional time that we created to try to support them. And this we did because of the backlogs that had taken place as a result of the disruptions that took place due to COVID.
Must be proud of this crop of matriculants, because for the past 2 years they were dealing with COVID-19, dealing with lockdowns, and earlier this year there was some flooding in KZN. So, you must be definitely proud of them, especially after what they've had to overcome in order to make it to Matric this year.
No, absolutely. In fact, that's exactly what the DG has been saying, to say that survive the COVID crisis, you're still here. It means that already you're a champion. So all that you need to do now is to work on the quality of your results. And he says that the resilience that they've demonstrated is commendable, but we also need to take our responsibility of supporting them, because their mental health is also an issue that we need to consider. And they're exhausted. I mean, they've been learning throughout this whole year with no rest. So we have now arrived at that point which they were preparing for. So we hope that they will remain calm, go through the exam, and still use the assistance of the teachers, because they remain available throughout the exam time.
Yes, and it is the culmination of about 12 years of schooling career. I can imagine there are nerves that are actually kicking in at the moment. What kind of psychosocial support will be given to those that are, grappling with the examination?
At this time, we work with our partners, such as the anxiety group, who help to provide counseling, but we also bring other departments that have the service. Internally, the department has the service as well, so we make it available to all our candidates. But also, we, just as officials, we go to motivate them as well and tell them how to manage the stress during this time. All of that support contributes a lot, and this we know because they tell us that the things that the DG tells them, the things that the minister and the DM tells them when we visit them, help them to remain calm and focus on the exam. So even at home, that needs to happen. So it's important that we all rally behind this class. As we've indicated, they've gone through a lot. This is the first time that they are being tested in the real sense since 2019, when they were in grade 9. So 2020, they did not write exam. 2021, they did not write an exam. Way of feeling that there is something called an exam in the FET phase was in September, when they wrote the pre-trial exams. So that's where we are. But we believe that we've done everything that we needed to do, both from a learner support perspective and from a system preparedness perspective.
Yes. And also, speaking of those past 2 years, 2019, you guys did very well with a pass rate of about 80 or so %, and 2021, we saw a drop, going to 76, 74%. How do you expect the outcome of this year's examination in terms of the pass rate?
Well, this year is an extraordinary year. It shouldn't be compared to any other year for the reasons that we've already outlined, that this group has experienced a lot. They were in grade 10 in 2020. So there's never been a group like this one. So this is a core that has been challenged. So any result really should be commended. We hope there won't be a drop, because we've prepared them and have recovered all the losses that were incurred due to COVID. So we're confident that they'll do well. The DG believes that they will surprise us. I support him. That's how we view this class, and we look forward to seeing the results when the minister announces on the 19th of January next year.
Yes. And there was an impasse on the negotiating table with negotiations. don't you expect any nasty surprises in the middle of examination where there could be some strike action from the...
No, we had an engagement in the sector on Saturday afternoon. We were assured that there wasn't going to be any disruptions. They committed to ensuring that they remain on duty and that they will stabilize the sector, work with us. So based on that feedback from what we got from them, we are comfortable that there won't be any disruptions in terms of examinations or any other part of the work that we are doing in the sector up until the end of the year.
About 630 schools were actually affected. We see the ministers also entering the school premises at the moment, but we'll continue with the interview and we'll also monitor affected with the flooding in KZN, with about, I believe, over 70 that were inaccessible to learners. What are the contingency measures there in terms of, making sure that the learners also write examinations in KZN?
Okay, two things on that one. The first one is that the majority of the schools that were damaged were primary schools. So in those schools, there would have been provided with mobile classrooms. But the second thing is that the high schools that were damaged have since been fixed. The inaccessible roads have also been addressed by the provincial government there. So there's no issue in terms of those schools that were damaged in the floods in KZN. All schools are ready, and we remain on alert. Of course, we know it's the rainy season as well, so we always have the SANDF on our side to provide any emergency rescue or any emergency support that we might need from them. And in that regard, we are comfortable that KZN should be able to manage the exam fairly comfortably.
Yes. And there's been criticism of, the National Senior Certificate that, it's not actually on par with the world standards, and we know that the National Development Plan strives for the education standards to be on par with the world standards. How far are you in terms of, making sure that you are on par with the world?
No, that has been disputed by research. In fact, in September, on the 23rd of September, Umalusi released a report, a benchmarking report, which confirmed that our National Senior Certificate it's of a good standard, international standard, when compared to other parts of the continent and other parts of the world. So we are happy that an independent research has found to that effect, and we hope that South Africans will give it the credibility that it deserves, because we also have hundreds of our learners, by the way, that are overseas. We know some are in Russia and other parts of the world. How would they be admitted if the certificate was not good enough? So it does not make sense that anyone would continue to hold that view against research which points to the opposite.
Yes, and we're hoping to speak to the minister. I see she's going inside. What is the purpose of the business inside before she comes outside and meets with the students and the media?
Well, she arrives and then she goes for a briefing in terms of the performance of the school, the district, and the preparedness of the learners and how things have been here. Of course, she will also be meeting the MEC of Education in Gauteng. The Premier is also coming, so they need to have a discussion in terms of how the day is going to be like, and the support that we are providing to the province, and the support that the Premier is going to provide to the Minister, and the Minister providing to the province and all other provinces as well. So there has to be a discussion that must take place before they come out and do the walkabout and interact with the learners.
Yes. And also, about learners that have started grade 1 actually drop out before they actually reach matric. How are you doing to expedite that issue to ensure that, all the learners actually make it through their schooling career?
Well, we can debate the statistic. It's not necessarily accurate, because we believe that not everyone drops out. Some are delayed because of grade repetition. Some fail and they have to take a little longer to get to grade 12. Of course, some do drop out, but we have a system that we are using, programs that we put in place to support learners so that they are able to progress and finish their education. I mean, it's costly for the state if a learner does not finish. So our interest is that everyone must stay in the system, but the home is where it all begins, because if you drop out and you go sit at home, what are your parents saying? What are the guardians saying? What are the neighbors saying? So you need to be supported right from home, from the community itself. So we need to all work together and not just blame the education system. The system requires learners to be in school. In fact, we have even gone to the extent of amending the law in this sector that says that if you keep a child at home when they should be in school, then action should be taken against you. Currently, the Schools Act says you should be punished for 6 months, but we are saying it must be 12 months because we want society to understand that education is a serious matter and all learners of school going age should be in school. And you as a parent, as a guardian, you must make sure that they are in school. So we are doing a lot to make sure that all our children should be in school and they do finish at grade 12 level with a good quality pass.
Thank you very much. Well, as you heard that, the spokesperson of the Department of Basic Education actually saying that they are not expecting any nasty surprises after there were some impasse on the negotiating table with the public sector workers, saying that they have met with the teachers and it will be business as usual, as you've seen that the learners are now coming in to prepare for the final year matric examinations. And with that, it's back to studio.